This is Marcus K. Dowling, the Nashville country music reporter at the Tennessean, and I'm here at the Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, with Lorrie Morgan, who accepted the induction for Keith Whitley today.
I did, and I'm very proud. I've got his children with me, Morgan over here, and Jesse Keith, and Kristen Whitley, Jesse's wife, and my husband's here, my manager Tony's here, my publicist Joe Gallant. I mean, everybody's here celebrating Keith.
Yeah, so a lot of people know him from Miami. Miami obviously had a viral buzz last year, but I feel like there's a greater depth of story to Keith Whitley's legacy that I think gets told now that he's a member of the Hall of Fame. Your thoughts about that?
Well, there is a deeper story to Keith than just Miami, and that was the complication of Keith. He was hard to figure out, but he was easy to listen to, and he was easy to be around. He was fun to be around. He had a belly laugh. He had great relationships with the children. A dog or two he didn't like, but
that was a one-time thing. And, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it off camera.
Cool.
Anyway, there's a lot more deeper. He's more deep and complex than just the song Miami. And in his last albums with Garth Fundus, I think a lot of that deepness and some darkness as well came out in his albums. But Keith was the kind who he wanted to reach people through his music, and I think he really did.
So, Jesse, let's talk, man.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Dad.
Let's do it.
I mean, I feel like legacy is a real thing for you. I mean, you're an artist as well. Like, you're out there, doing the work. So, thoughts about that when you hear his music now as an artist yourself?
He's the greatest country music singer to ever live, in my opinion. And those are shoes that'll never be filled. But I honor him the best way I can when we're out there. And I try and do different Keith Whitley songs whenever I can. But this is just an amazing feeling.
Right. So take me into the idea that people like Garth Brooks and Tim McGraw and Alan Jackson and actual legends of country music of this generation all look and they say there's one artist that they all want it to be, and it's Keith Whitley. Thoughts about that? Let's start with you.
well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think when you listen to Keith's music, you're overwhelmed with emotion. And it ranges from feelings of love to depression to sadness. I've heard people say there's nothing like having a drink and putting on an old Keith Whitley record. And it's so true, like I've done it myself. You just stand there, put it on, and you just go for hours and cry. And I think it really is because without ever physically meeting someone or physically seeing someone, you really feel connected to him when you hear him sing.
And I think that's probably why, they say that behind every artist is a little bit of crazy, and behind, I'm not calling Alan Jackson crazy, but he is. No, behind every artist. I mean,
Right.
whether it's Garth,
Yeah.
Alan, Randy Travis, you have to be a little bit cuckoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they relate to the deepness, the darkness of Keith, and his perfect pitch vocal. I
Exactly.
don't want to forget that.
Right.
He had perfect pitch vocal, and that's something that is very, very seldom heard these days.
Right. And you married into this family, and thoughts about being a fan of country music, and then you come upon Keith's music, and you're like, okay, so I'm actually a part of his family now, and it's just this incredible thing.
Well, I was actually a huge Keith Whitley fan far before I, met
a fan
Jess.
of mine.
That is true. I still love you, but that is very true. So it's just interesting going from being, a fan of his music and listening to the music and having that connection that everyone else has, and then becoming part of the family and seeing the other side of the connection. It's just kind of like a full circle, and you kind of feel like you understand the person better that you've never got to meet, and it's just a feeling of wholeness, and I can feel the sense of family and the love that they all had. And it's just one of those things that it's just enjoyable.
And she has another one of his grandbabies.
Oh, congratulations! Wonderful. So, from a joyous Country Music Hall of Fame, this is Marcus K. Dowling, the Nashville Country Music Reporter with the Tennessean.